physical properties of alkanes such as melting point, boiling point and the solubility depend on intermolecular forces of attraction. Here more intermolecular interactions are there, here less intermolecular interactions are there. That's why it is having more boiling point comparative to these two, that is branched alkanes. When alkanes are burnt in air or oxygen, alkanes gets completely oxidized to carbon dioxide and water with the evolution of large amount of heat. Hello everyone, this is Harshita Bhavasar from Vidyashram School of Excellence. Today we are starting up session 2 from the chapter Hydrocarbons. So in the last class we have discussed about the introduction part of hydrocarbons and what is alkanes, nomenclature and isomerism of alkanes, methods of preparation of alkanes. These are the contents which we have discussed already in the previous session. So in this session, we will discuss about the physical and chemical properties of alkanes. First we'll see the physical properties of alkanes. The physical properties of alkanes such as melting point, boiling point and the solubility depend on intermolecular forces of attraction. Usually in all the compounds, the physical property which will depend on the intermolecular forces of attraction. You know what is intermolecular forces of attraction? Inside the compound or any kind of molecule, that between one molecule and another molecule some kind of attractive force will be present, that will be called as intermolecular forces of attraction. Based on that, the physical properties like melting point, boiling point and solubility will depends. Okay. So here we'll see next physical state. The first 4 homologues of alkanes, that is from C1 to C4 are gases. Next 13, that is C5 to C17, that is carbon. 1 to 4 are gases, carbon 5 to 17 are liquids and higher members, that is carbon 18 onwards are colorless waxy solids. These are the physical state. First 4 homologous series of alkanes are usually gases like methane, ethane, propane and butane. More than that, like 13 carbons, that is carbon 5 to, that is pentane to carbon 17 are liquids and higher than that carbon more than 18 members or will be in the state of colorless waxy solid. Okay. So first we'll see the melting point. The melting point of solid depends on the lattice energy. Higher the molecular symmetry, larger the lattice energy. See, higher the molecular symmetry, larger the lattice energy and hence higher the melting point. The melting point of alkanes increases with increase in molecular mass, but the variation is not regular. What they are telling, the melting point in solids or of solids depends on lattice energy. Lattice is nothing but crystal, so that energy will be present. Higher the molecular symmetry, symmetry means when a plane has been moved on the compound, the two halves will be the mirror images of one another, that will call symmetry. When molecular symmetry is present, that lattice energy will be present. Obviously the melting point will get increases. Okay, the melting point of alkanes increases with increases in molecular mass. Yes, when the molecular mass is getting increases, obviously the melting point will get increased. That is, but it will be not in a regular pattern because obviously the molecular mass will be increasing and the melting point will also get increased. So carbon atoms arranged in a zigzag chain and alkanes containing even number of carbon atoms, presence of 2 terminal methyl groups on opposite sides of zigzag chain account for greater symmetry and higher melting point. What they are telling means, see here, this zigzag pattern, bond line, here one CH3 will be present, here one CH3 will be present. It shows the greater symmetry, so its higher melting point will also can be exhibited. Okay, that's what they are telling. The zigzag pattern, the terminal will be methyl or CH3 group will be present. For example, the melting points of isomers with molecular formula C5H12, that is pentane, are given below. See here, pentane melting point is 143 K, that is N-pentane. A series carbon chain is there. This is isopentane, little bit branched isopentane, melting points here 113. And this is 2,2 dimethyl propane. This is neopentane, 256.4 Kelvin. Among these isomers, neopentane has the higher melting point since it is the most symmetric, whereas isopentane is the least symmetric and hence the lowest melting point is present. See, whenever you will see like this, in any kind of plane, it will be two same equal halves. See here, two equal halves are present. If you cut like this also, two equal halves will be present. That's why the symmetry will be, the compounds which having the symmetry, it will attain the more melting point. Okay, that's what they are telling. That's because hence the neopentane is having more melting point than the N-pentane. Okay, next one, boiling point. Among the isomeric alkanes, branched chain isomers have lesser surface area than the corresponding unbranched isomers. More the branching, lesser the surface area, lower the intermolecular interaction and lower the boiling point. This fact is illustrated by taking isomeric pentanes. What they are telling? Among the isomeric alkanes, these are the isomers of pentane. The branched chain isomers have lesser surface. Yes, the branched one will be having the lesser surface of alkane. That's why more the branching, lesser the surface area. When the branches are getting, that surface area will be less. So, the intermolecular interaction will also get less. Obviously, the boiling point will get less. See here, in N-pentane, that straight chain pentane having 309.1 Kelvin. This is 300, little bit branched. This is completely branched. This is having 282. Here, less surface area. Here, more intermolecular interactions are there. Here, less intermolecular interactions are there. That's why it is having more boiling point comparative to these two, that is branched alkanes. From the observed boiling point values, it is evident that the surface area of 2,2 dimethyl propane is minimum as it's highly branched. Hence, its boiling point is the least among the chain isomers. That's what I told. In the neopentane, surface area is less. That's why intermolecular interaction is less. And also, the boiling point is also getting decreased. Next, we'll see the solubility. The general rule of solubility is like dissolves like. Yes, solubility means some salt. Means take an example of NaCl with water. It will completely dissolve. That is called solubility. In accordance with this, non-polar alkanes are insoluble in polar solvents like water, alcohol, but are highly soluble in non-polar solvents like petroleum, benzene, carbon tetrachloride. Liquid hydrocarbons like heptane, octane themselves are good solvents for other non-polar compounds. Here, you have to study about the polar and non-polar. You have discussed many times in your previous sessions, like what are polar compounds and what are non-polar compounds, what are polar solvents and what are non-polar solvents. That is what they are telling here. About non-polar alkanes as insoluble in polar solvents. Okay, they will be soluble in only the non-polar solvents like petroleum, ether. Polar will soluble in non-polar. Non-polar compounds will soluble in polar compounds. These are the examples of polar solvents. These are the examples of non-polar solvents. Okay. Next, we'll see the chemical properties. Next, we'll see the chemical properties of alkanes. Alkanes are saturated compounds and undergo substitution reactions. A few typical substitution reactions of alkanes are discussed. Okay, we know that alkanes are saturated, means single bond having compounds, and they will undergo substitution reactions. Okay, we'll see now so many typical substitution reactions of alkanes. First, we'll see halogenation. Halogenation involves substitution of one or more hydrogen atoms of alkanes by equal number of halogen atoms. Chlorination is carried out by exposing a mixture of alkane and chlorine to diffuse sunlight, ultraviolet light, or at higher temperature of 573 to 773 Kelvin. Okay, halogenation means it is a type of substitution reaction in which the number of hydrogens present in a methane or any kind of alkane will be substituted by any halogen atom. Halogens means nothing but chlorine, bromine, iodine. Usually we will take. Okay. That will be substituted instead of hydrogen. See here, CH4 is there. That will be substituted by Cl2, that is chlorine. Usually it will takes place in the presence of sunlight. So it will form chloromethane and HCl. Okay, this is how it will be. One chlorine atom will substituted instead of one H. So it will form CH3Cl plus HCl. Okay. If two chlorine atoms have been attached, CH2Cl2 dichloromethane. Okay. For CH2Cl2, again one chlorine atom is attached, means trichloromethane, that is nothing but chloroform. Okay. This is how the halogenation or halogen atoms will attach with respect to alkanes. Bromination takes place similar to chlorination but occurs less readily. Iodination is extremely slow and reversible as hydrogen iodide formed during the reaction acts as a reducing agent and converts methyl iodide and methane. See here, we have told halogenation is not only talking about the chlorine, we can use bromine also, we can use iodine also. But why we are not at all using much means, bromination is less readily will reactive, iodination is very slow, and not only slow, it is reversible because it will form, when it is treated with halogen iodide, that is hydrogen iodide, it will form again iodine plus water. Therefore, iodination is carried out in the presence of oxidizing agent because it will reduce there. Like nitric acid or iodic acid, the fluorination of alkanes takes place too violently, leading to carbon-carbon cleavaging of carbon-carbon bonds. The reaction can be made less violent by dilution of fluorine with nitrogen or argon. Okay, another halogen is fluorination. What it will happen? The fluorination or the fluorine, the atom, whatever it is present in that, automatically it will react too violently in the action of cleavage of carbon-carbon bonds. Okay, so that reaction can be made less violent by using or dilution of fluorine with nitrogen. Till that it will cleavaging of carbon-carbon bonds will be takes place. So, other three are less better than chlorination. So, we will see now the order of reactivity of halogens towards an alkane is fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. The order of reactivity, different types of hydrogen of alkenes towards the chlorination is tertiary, secondary and primary. Okay. Next, we will see the mechanism of chlorination of methane, how the mechanism takes place with respect to chlorination. When methane and chlorine are exposed to sunlight, chloromethane is formed. This reaction is called chlorination. It follows free radical mechanism. Okay. It follows free radical mechanism. See, this is a general reaction. Methane plus chlorine atom. In presence of sunlight, it forms chloromethane and hydrochloric acid. The reaction between methane and chlorine takes place in 3 steps, namely initiation, propagation and termination. Okay, how it will initiate and propagate and it will get terminate. We'll see one by one. First, initiation. The reaction begins with the breaking of covalent bond between the chlorine atoms to give chlorine free radicals. Ultraviolet radiation provides the energy required for this purpose. In this initiation step, free radicals are generated. When the free radicals will generated? When the homolytic cleavage of covalent bond will takes place. Here, between chlorine and chlorine atom, one covalent bond is present. That covalent bond will get cleaved by homolysis. In the presence of sunlight, it will form 2 chlorine, free radicals will form. That is the product of homolytic cleavage. Propagation. In this step, the chlorine free radical attacks methane to give methyl free radical and a molecule of HCl. Whatever it has been cleaved, within that one radical, free radical will attached for methane. See here, one HCl and methyl free radical will form here. Next, Methyl free radical attacks a chlorine molecule to give chloromethane and a chlorine free radical. Whatever that methyl free radical has been formed in the propagation step, that will be attached to the chlorine free radical and it will form chloromethane and another free radical of chlorine. In the propagation step, one free radical is used up and new free radical is generated. So termination, in this step, two free radicals combine forming stable molecules. Here whatever it has been generated in the propagation step, it will be formed with another free radical here. It will form Cl2, which is just stable. Here CH3Cl, that is CH3Cl. This is CH3CH3. This is dimethyl radicals are there. The formation of ethane as one of the product provides evidence in the favor of free radical mechanism. This is nothing but ethane. Okay. Next is combustion. When alkanes are burnt in air or oxygen, alkanes gets completely oxidized to carbon dioxide and water with the evolution of large amount of heat. Combustion is nothing but burning. In the presence of oxygen, it will gets oxidized. Right? See here, methane get combustion or oxidized with oxygen. It will form carbon dioxide and water with the heavy or large amount of heat. This is nothing but enthalpy. Okay. This is also another butane. You can see here. This is oxygen, carbon dioxide and water will be liberated. Here also large amount of heat will be liberated. Okay. This is called combustion. The enthalpy of combustion of branched isomeric alkanes is less than unbranched alkanes, suggesting that the stability of branched alkanes is higher than the unbranched alkanes. What they are telling? The enthalpy of combustion of branched isomeric alkanes is less, means branched will be less. It is having less enthalpy of combustion comparative to unbranched. Due to the evolution of large amount of heat during combustion, alkanes are used as a fuels. Yes, during combustion the large amount of heat will be liberated. So because of that heat liberation, the alkanes will be used as fuel. If that complete combustion is not taking place, it becomes incomplete combustion. That time, during incomplete combustion of alkanes with insufficient amount of air or oxygen, okay, carbon black is formed, which will be used of manufacturing of ink, printer, ink or black pigments as the fillers. If complete combustion takes place, that will be used as fuel. If any chance of getting insufficient air, like insufficient air or oxygen, that time it will form carbon black. It will be used as ink or printer ink and also black pigments as fillers. Okay. By the complete combustion or incomplete combustion, alkanes are very much used product. See here, incomplete combustion, carbon will be formed. That will be used as ink or black pigment. Next one, controlled oxidation or catalytic oxidation. Alkanes on heating with limited supply of oxygen or air at high pressure in presence of suitable catalyst give different oxidation product. Catalytic means a presence of catalyst will be present. See here, methane in the limited supply of oxygen is taken place in the presence of copper as catalyst. In the high pressure, that is 100 atmospheric pressure and temperature 523 Kelvin, the methanol will be formed. Here also see trioxide, molybdenum they have taken. Here also formaldehyde will form. Here ethanol, ethane. Here ethanoic acid will form. Okay. Here see methanol will form. Due to the oxidation, here alcohol is getting formed. Alkanes containing tertiary hydrogen are oxidized to alcohols on oxidation with potassium permanganate. Potassium permanganate is a very good oxidizing reagent. Here they have taken tertiary carbon atom. What is tertiary carbon atom? Here carbon is attached to 3 carbon atoms. Another side only hydrogen is there. It is getting to oxidize in the presence of KMnO4, that is potassium permanganate, in the presence of heat. It will form alcohol. See here 2-methyl propane will form 2-methyl propanol, means alcohol. Okay. Next, reaction with steam. Methane reacts with steam at 1273 Kelvin in the presence of nickel catalyst to form carbon monoxide and hydrogen. Here methane treating with steam. Okay, this is in the gaseous form. In the presence of nickel catalyst, it will form carbon monoxide and 3H2, that is hydrogen. This method is employed for the manufacture of hydrogen. If you want to manufacture hydrogen, this method is easily usable. Next is isomerization. When unbranched alkanes are heated with anhydrous aluminium chloride and hydrogen chloride, isomeric branched alkenes are formed. This process is called isomerization. Means when unbranched is treated with these two compounds or chemicals, it gets easily branched. See here butane, it is in N-butane stage. When it is treated with anhydrous aluminium chloride and hydrochloric acid, in the presence with the treatment of 570 Kelvin, it will form 2-methyl propane or isobutane. It is unbranched, branched. Here also N-hexane, converting it to 2-methyl pentane and 3-methyl pentane. Two kinds of isomeric branched alkanes can be seen. That is called isomerization, conversion of unbranched to branched alkanes. Next is aromatization. Hexane or higher alkanes, especially hexane or higher alkanes, when heated in the presence of vanadium pentoxide or molybdenum oxide or chromium oxide also supported over alumina at 773 Kelvin and 10 to 20 atmospheric pressure gives benzene or its alkyl derivatives with the liberation of hydrogen. This dehydrogenation process, which involves cyclization alkanes, is known as aromatization. Hexane or higher alkanes, here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hexane or more than that derivatives in the presence of or treated with vanadium pentoxide or aluminium trioxide or chromium oxide in the presence of 773 Kelvin and 10 to 20 atmospheric pressure, it will form benzene and its derivatives with the liberation of hydrogen. That will be called as dehydrogenation. Due to that dehydrogenation process only, it will form the cyclic nature, or else it would be in a branched or N series, like a single chain series only formed. Due to this dehydrogenation process only, the cyclization takes place. Next one, pyrolysis. The decomposition of higher alkane into mixture of lower alkenes on heating is called pyrolysis or cracking. See, this is hexane. Here 6 carbon atoms are present. It's a little bit huge molecule. At the presence of 773 Kelvin, it will form mixture of alkanes or alkene. Here it will form hexene plus H2. Here butene, ethane. Here propane, ethene, methane. Means mixture of alkene and alkane will takes place due to the cracking of alkanes. Okay. This is called pyrolysis. Pyrolysis involves fission of carbon-carbon and carbon-hydrogen bonds and occurs by free radical mechanism. The cracking of higher alkane in presence of catalysts such as nickel, platinum is called catalytic cracking. For example, dodecane, a constituent of kerosene, oil on heating to 973 Kelvin in the presence of nickel catalyst gives a mixture of heptane and pentane. Dodecane means carbon 12 will be present in the presence of nickel catalyst at 973 Kelvin. It will form heptane, pentane and other products. It is a catalytic cracking. In the presence of catalyst, the cracking of alkanes will takes place. This is called the pyrolysis. Usually pyrolysis involves the carbon-carbon bonds cleavage and the carbon-hydrogen bond fission will takes place. This is about the properties of alkanes, that is basically physical and chemical properties. In the next class, we will see about the conformations of ethane, applications of alkanes and the introduction part of alkenes. I hope you have understood completely what I have taught today. So, we'll meet in the next session. Thank you.